So you want to be a full stack developer. That's awesome. But look, in today's tech world, just having a goal isn't enough. You need a smart, up-to-date roadmap. And today, we're going to lay out that exact path for you. A step-by-step guide to becoming a high-paid, totally in-demand full stack developer for 2026.
But first, we gotta tackle the big question, right? The one that's probably on your mind. With all this chatter about AI taking over jobs and a super competitive market, is becoming a full stack developer even worth it anymore?
Well, the data gives us a pretty loud and clear yes. A quick search shows over 35,000 active full stack developer jobs in India right now. I mean, that's more than machine learning, data science, and cloud roles combined. The demand is definitely there. But, and this is a big but, the kind of demand has totally changed. So, to help you navigate this new world, we've got a 5-step plan. First up, we'll do a reality check on what companies really want in 2026. Then we'll hit your first major choice, MERN or Java. After that, we'll cover the super important learn by doing rules so you don't get stuck. Then comes the main event, our 6-month AI-powered roadmap. And finally, we'll talk strategy for turning all that learning into earning. Okay, let's kick it off with Section 1, the reality check. Look, the job of a full-stack developer just isn't what it used to be. Knowing React and Node is, well, it's the baseline now. It's not enough to get you those top-tier jobs. There's a critical new piece to the puzzle. And this, right here, this little snippet from a real job posting says it all. Companies aren't just looking for people who can build apps anymore. They want developers who use AI to build smarter apps and to just work faster and more efficiently. This isn't a nice-to-have skill. It is a core responsibility now. And if you're not convinced, let's talk about the money, because you just can't ignore this. A developer with the standard old-school skills, you're looking at a starting salary of around 5 to 8 lakh. But a developer who knows how to work with AI, that number jumps to 10 to 12 lakh right out of the gate. The market is screaming at us where the value is. So we know why having an AI-powered skill set is crucial. That brings us to Section 2 and your first big fork in the road, choosing the right tech stack. For a lot of people just starting out, this is where the confusion begins. Now, let's break this down, because the trade-offs are super interesting. Yeah, Java has more jobs overall, especially in those big banks and giant corporations. But MERN, which is all JavaScript, absolutely owns the startup and product-based company space. But here's the kicker. Look at the learning time and AI integration. MERN is just faster to learn. And because the JavaScript ecosystem is so massive, plugging in AI tools is, well, it's seamless, it's natural. So for our roadmap, we're going to focus on the MERN stack. Plain and simple, it's the fastest way to get you job ready, and it lines up perfectly with the AI skills that the best companies are looking for right now. Okay, before we dive into the month-by-month plan, we have to talk about how to learn. Because trust me, what you learn is only half the story. How you learn is what will actually make you successful and help you dodge a very, very common trap. And that trap is called tutorial hell. You know the feeling, right? You just finished a 20-hour video course, you feel like a genius, but then you open up a blank code editor to start your own project, and nothing. Your mind is just completely blank. That's tutorial hell. It's the illusion of progress without any of the real-world skill. So how do you escape it? You use the 70-20-10 rule. The huge chunk of your time, a full 70%, should be spent actually building stuff. Creating projects, adding features, breaking things, and then figuring out how to fix them. Only about 20% is for watching videos and learning concepts, and the last 10% is for targeted problem solving, like data structures and algorithms. So, what does this actually look like day to day? Simple. Spend maybe 30 minutes in the morning learning a new concept, let's say JavaScript arrays. Then spend a couple hours in the afternoon actually using arrays. Ask an AI tool like Copilot to help you build a to-do list app that uses them. Mess with the code, understand it, make it better. Then, in the evening, solve 1 or 2 quick DSA problems about arrays. See? It's a cycle. All right, now that we know how to learn, let's get into the main event. This is the heart of it all, the detailed 6-month AI-powered roadmap that will take you from absolute beginner to a job-ready full-stack developer. So here's the bird's eye view. The first 2 months are all about locking down the front end. Months 3 and 4, we build the back end and connect it all together. Month 5 is where we add the secret sauce, the AI integration. And month 6 is all about polishing everything up and getting you ready for interviews. Let's dive into months 1 and 2. This is all about that rock-solid front-end foundation. You'll master HTML, CSS, Git for version control, and then dive deep into React. But, and I gotta be super clear on this one, you have to learn TypeScript. For those 10 lakh plus jobs, it's not even a question anymore, it's mandatory. As you build projects, you'll also kick off your DSA journey with the basics like arrays and strings. If you nail this part, you're honestly already qualified for a lot of front-end jobs. All right, next up, months 3 and 4. We're moving to the back end. You'll use Node.js and Express to build the APIs, the engine of your application, and MongoDB as your database. Now, a key project here is building a full authentication system from scratch using things like JWTs. Pay very close attention here, because this stuff comes up in interviews all the time. Finally, you'll wire it all together, making your React front-end talk to your Node backend. And you'll level up your DSA with topics like stacks, queues, and hash maps. And now for month 5. This is the month that will separate you from 99% of the other applicants out there. First, you'll learn Next.js. It's the industry standard for building real, production-level React apps. Then, you integrate your AI differentiator. This could be a smart chatbot, a powerful search feature, anything. To really pop, you can even make a contribution to an open-source project. This shows you can work in a real-world team. This month is the real game changer. Your DSA work will also get more advanced, tackling trees and graphs. So, what does this AI stuff actually look like? Think about an e-commerce site. A normal search for budget running shoes under 2,000 just matches those keywords, right? It gives you this messy, kind of useless list. But an AI-powered search, it understands what the user actually wants and gives them the perfect results. That's a night and day difference for the user. And here's the craziest part. Adding a feature like this is not nearly as hard as it sounds. We're talking about something that could be as simple as a 5-line code change to call an AI service. It's a tiny bit of effort for a gigantic, standout impact on your resume. Okay, you've built the skills, you've got an amazing AI-powered project in your portfolio. Now for the final and most important step, turning all of that hard work into a real, high-paying job offer. Now listen up, because this might be the most important piece of advice I can give you. Start applying for jobs in month 3. Not month 6, month 3. Why? Because the interview process itself is one of the best learning tools you will ever have. It takes time, and those first few rejections will teach you exactly what you need to fix. You also have to be realistic and persistent. The market's tough. For every 100 applications you send out, you might get 10 responses. And those 10 responses might turn into one single offer. It's a numbers game. You can't let rejection get you down. You have to see it as data, as feedback, and just keep pushing and keep improving. So there you have it, the complete AI-powered roadmap to not just become a full-stack developer, but to become the kind of developer that companies in 2026 are literally fighting to hire. You now have the map to put yourself in the top 1% of everyone applying for these jobs. The only question left is, are you ready to start building?